What's up, everybody? So today we'll be making a video of me replacing my valve cover. As you know, the B58s, they have PCV issues. For the Gen 2 B58, the PCV system is actually built into the valve cover, so we're going to go ahead and replace the valve cover on my M340. So we got Nick's in the shop over here. The first thing we're going to do is go ahead and unplug both of the batteries and go ahead and depressurize the fuel system. Okay, so we're back at it again. As you can see, we got the cowl off. Okay, already got the fuel line disconnected and our fuel rail all bled out. Now we are going to go ahead and start removing all the wire harness and the fuel rail and everything, basically everything that's off. That way we can get this replaced. All right. So now we got everything taken apart. As you can see, all we have to do is go ahead and remove the valve cover. So when we went ahead and removed the injectors, you want to be sure that you go ahead and label them. So I put, obviously this is going to be cylinder 1, but I went ahead and put 1, 4, 5, and 6. And each injector needs to go back into the cylinder that it came out of because they are kind of, programmed into that. Okay, so that's one of the crucial parts. Okay, but other than that, we got all of this taken care of. We're about to go ahead and remove the valve cover. For this valve cover, okay, here's the diagram. For removal, we're going to go from 21 to 1. That way we can make sure that there is no damage when we're removing this valve cover. Now we've got everything loose. Everything's ready to come off. All we really have to do is pull this off the side, move it a little bit. The gas will be caught in some areas. Got it all stripped apart. Now I'm going to go ahead and prep all the surfaces and get the valve cover set back on here and torque down to spec. Everything's at 8 Newton meters and it's properly seated down. We're going to go ahead and do 1 through 21 at 11 Newton meters, and that will be your finished tightening torque. Next step, we're going to go ahead and be removing this injector Teflon ring and be replacing the Teflon ring with a new one, which we got right here. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and remove this, and I'm going to show you the tools we're going to be using to install the new injector seals. So now we got the Teflon ring right here. We got this little joint. We're going to slide this on over that, okay? And then we're going to take this fuel injector. As you can see, this one is 2 different sizes. What we're going to do is we're going to put the big side facing outwards. So see, small inwards, okay? Then we're going to go ahead and put this right over this injector like that. And what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and push this down. Okay? And what that big side does is it's going to go up and over this, and it's going to actually seal it back down. So if you look right there, you can see where it's kind of poking out. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and push this out. Right. That is going to seal it to where it's properly seated. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same process for the rest of the 5 injectors and get this fuel rail prepped to go onto the vehicle. So for this next part, we're going to go ahead and set the gap for these fuel rails, for the injectors to the fuel rail. Okay, we're going to be using this special tool right here, and how this is going to sit is it's going to sit right in here. You want to make sure that this is all flush. So quick note before we get any further, you want to make sure that these electrical connectors are all pointing towards the fuel pressure sensor. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and place this over here. It's a little harder than I'm holding it up, but I'm just trying to show you guys, and you guys are going to kind of tighten this evenly. Probably go at a 1/4 turn at a time until basically this is snug and this is sitting flush. Okay, but you still want to be able to kind of like pull it out. Okay, and that's just presetting it for when you put it into the vehicle. Okay. Other than that, I'm going to go ahead and preset all of this, and then we will get back to you as soon as we go ahead and set this back into the vehicle. Before I go ahead and put in that fuel injectors, okay, I'm going to go ahead and install these actuators. Okay, so it's not going to go on this valve cover because my new valve cover is already on the car, but we're basically going to show you how this is actually installed with the old valve cover. Okay, so how this basically is going to go is this goes right in here like this. Basically all you're going to do is you're just going to twist it until it locks back into these clips in place. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to go ahead and continue the video when I'm installing the injectors. Okay, so now we've got the fuel injectors. I already went ahead and installed 4, 5, and 6, so we're going to go ahead and install this next one. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that this is sitting evenly, and actually make sure you're actually in the hole, you know, make sure you find the hole. And once you get it on there, you want to actually push it down once it's in the holes properly. You want to push it down until you feel resistance, okay, and make sure that this is all fully seated, okay. Okay, just like that, how it's fully seated. See? Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to be tightening this by 90-degree increments. So we're going to go A, D, B, and C in 90-degree increments until they reach 5 Newton meters. Okay, as soon as we get to that, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing for these small ones. As soon as these are at spec, we're going to go ahead and tighten these small ones. Okay, that's going to be, again, you're going to go in 90-degree increments, so that way make sure that it tightens down evenly, and that's going to go to 5 Newton meters as well for all 6 of these bolts for the injectors. And then as soon as you complete that 5 Newton meters, we're going to be going into we're going to be torquing this to angle at 90 degrees. That way it's seated properly. Okay, and we do not have any fuel leaks. So basically got everything put back together. Okay, the one thing I do want to go ahead and really notate is these two 8mm right here. These are actually ground straps, so you want to make sure that you actually have those bolted down, so that way you do not run into any issues, any grounding issues. Other than that, I do need to plug in the O2 sensors. But once I plug these O2 sensors back in, I'm going to go ahead and start the vehicle and make sure that there is no fuel leaks and everything is running in tip-top shape before I completely put this thing back together. Other than that, it's pretty much that simple. It is a little process, however, you can get it done as long as you follow the right steps. Okay? Other than that, we'll get right back to you. Alright, now we got it running. As you can see that there is no leaks. Okay? No fuel leaks. Okay. And no oil leaks. My car didn't have oil leaks to begin with. However, it was blowing a lot of smoke due to that failed PCV. Okay. Other than that, we're going to go ahead and let this thing run for a little bit. That way I can ensure that there is absolutely no leaks before I continue putting this thing back together. Done. We got the valve cover all set. Everything is working in tip-top shape, and there is currently no more smoking.